about apps, technology, entertainment, and life in between. I'm, of course, your host, Kevin the Apptrepreneur. And what do you think of the llama background? So, before anyone asks, although since it's live, I'll probably have to mention this again. Showed my wife The Emperor's New Groove. It's now one of her favorite movies, and as a result, llamas. Now we have llamas. So, anyway, so let's talk about this story. Ever since I've created this channel, even though when I first started this channel, I was very pro Uber, I was very pro DoorDash, I was very pro gig economy in general, I have been accused of being way too bitter, of not pointing out the good things that could happen with Uber and Lyft. Why don't you ever talk about the stories of people making money? I've had people who say yeah, no, I make this much money being an independent contractor. No normal job can make me the kind of money that this does. I've always asked people, hey, if you make that kind of money, prove it. So far, only one person has. That person will always have my deep admiration because he really found a way to make it work. But for the most part, most people they've not been able to make Uber and Lyft work as a full-time gig. Well, here's some good news. You apparently can now double your money driving for Uber. I'm not even joking. There is a story, and I guess I will report on this because, hey, you got to report the good with the bad, right? But an Uber driver has said that she has more than doubled her monthly tips after she swapped out her Toyota Camry for a Tesla Model 3. Now she makes about $2,600 a month just on tips, and all she had to do was switch to a Tesla. This comes to us from MSN, and sorry, I'm obviously not on my usual setup, otherwise I would show you the article as well, but you're going to have to listen for this one, unfortunately. So, an Uber driver who swapped her Toyota Camry for a luxury Tesla Model 3 because it is cheaper to lease an electric vehicle than pay for gas said that she's more than doubled her tips as a result. Quote, usually I'm lucky to get $1 to $3 tips, but now it's $10 or $15, sometimes consecutively, Heidi Barnes, 34, told Bloomberg. Barnes told Bloomberg she made $2,600 in tips during a 25-day period while leasing the Tesla. She usually made around $800 to $1,000 over the same period in her Camry, she said. Now, that's important to note. Keep in mind, Teslas are not cheap. Teslas are luxury vehicles, and people like it when they get a Tesla, especially when they're paying an Uber X price. And so she's probably getting more tips because, yeah, they call for a Uber. They're probably expecting a Camry or something like that. And then they get a Tesla. Yeah, heck yeah, they're going to tip a little bit more than that, than what they normally would. She continued, they're a lot more generous, I'll bet they are. Barnes, who drives mostly around Los Angeles, is one of nearly 1,500 Uber drivers who have leased a Tesla since the company signed a deal with the car rental firm Hertz in October 2021, per Bloomberg. Uber also offers drivers a $1 per ride zero emissions initiative if they opt for an electric car. The Tesla promotion has coincided with a time when gas prices have reached record levels, fueled by a combination of the war in Ukraine, lower production in the U.S., and supply chain challenges. In June, a gallon of gasoline cost more than $5 on average across the U.S. It has since fallen to around $4.80, but is far above the $3.10 average at the same time last year, per the American Automobile Association. Barnes told Bloomberg she thought about upgrading her Toyota Camry, affectionately nicknamed the Beast, last summer, but finally made the swap after the cost of filling the tank increased from around $60 to $100. That's a big increase. That's a 40% increase in the gas right there. It costs her around $450 a month to run the Tesla, which she leases for $344, including insurance, maintenance, and unlimited miles, compared to around $600 it costs to run the Toyota, per Bloomberg. All right, so first, the good news. She switched over to a Tesla, and she's saving money on gas. So therefore, it is costing her less money to run her, business, if you will. What's more, she has now tripled the amount of tips that she gets. $2,600 is not bad in terms of tips. I'm not going to lie, that's pretty good. Now let's kind of poke a hole in the bubble. Let's pop it, if we will, because I guess that's what I do here. I kind of look at the bigger picture and want to point out the things that maybe this article isn't mentioning. First of all, she's leasing the Tesla through the Hertz program that Uber has. Basically, that means the car is not hers. Now, it does not say whether or not she still has the Camry or whether she sold the Camry or whatnot. But assuming she got rid of the Camry for the Tesla, she doesn't actually own this Tesla. She is leasing the Tesla, and as long as she is driving a certain amount of time for Uber per week, she gets to use it. And here's the other thing. When she's not driving for Uber, she's technically not supposed to be using the Tesla. I mean, any car that you lease through Uber, their little lease program, I think there's a certain amount of dead miles you can drive, but you're otherwise not really supposed to be using it for anything other than Uber. So I hope she still has her Camry. But then, where does she live? Well, she lives in LA. So how much is the average rent in LA? Well, the average cost to rent a one-bedroom apartment in LA is $2,600. So, okay, good news. The tips alone are covering her rent. And the extra miles that she's driving that's not tip-related, that's probably going to at least cover the maintenance, the insurance maintenance for the Tesla. Probably going to cover all that. Is that a lot of money left over? Probably not. After all, you still need to buy food, and you still need health insurance, which comes out of your own pocket if you're driving for Uber. I mean, the funny thing is, this article is written as if it is a win, but it's not. Yes, it is cheaper. I actually wonder how bad this was before she rented the Tesla. If I don't know how long she's been doing this, but does she mean to tell me that she was making about $2,000 a month when you factor in the tips? Maybe $3,000 if we're being generous in LA. Now maybe she's in Riverside, in which case maybe the rent is like $2,500. I mean, there is a little bit of a difference in areas that are near LA and not directly in LA. But still, even though it's like, look, $2,600, that's not bad, but it's not nearly enough to live in LA. Now, if this was in Las Vegas, if this was in Nashville, Tennessee, then she'd be doing really good at this point. I mean, and who knows, if you are driving in one of those markets, maybe it might be worth, leasing the Tesla and giving it a try. I mean, it is good money, and if you have similar results in a much lower expense area to live, then who knows? For the first time in a while, Uber might be profitable, but then that entirely depends on the tips. Keep in mind, this is money that she's making from tips, not because Uber's paying her well. So it's a very interesting article, how it's kind of being sold as like this big win. Like, oh yeah, this driver makes $2,600 in tips just because she switched to a Tesla. A Tesla she does not own. And for all we know, maybe those tips dry off once the novelty of getting picked up by a Tesla goes away. Because if there's one thing I've noticed about people who see good things on a platform, they tend to expect good things forever. Like, what happens if everyone else starts renting Teslas to Uber? Once you start seeing a Tesla, you're probably not going to be giving extra money in tips just because they pick up a Tesla. I mean, that's so passé. Now, Tesla Model X, call us on when that happens. Here's another thing. The Tesla Model S is considered a luxury model. She might be able to get on the Uber Black platform, maybe make just as much if more tips, and then she'd have higher rides. I don't know why that hasn't come up. But who knows? So it's a very interesting. Romeo says you have to pay for everything for Tesla when you break the car. And yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't know exactly how that works. I mean, if it was her car, she'd have to pay for it anyway. That's just a given. Are you saying that if she leased the car through Uber, she has to pay for everything? That's not typically how leases work. I mean, if you get into an accident, then yes, it's kind of on you, and that's why you definitely want to get like the insurance. But I don't know if that's how that works. Anyway, I just find it kind of interesting because I first read that headline, I was like, oh wow, maybe someone finally found a way for Uber to be this really profitable thing again. But then you look a little closer, and it's like, that's still not enough. I mean, it speaks volumes that she could be making about $3,000 or more a month, and it's still not enough for her to live where she lives. I mean, that's the kind of thing that just makes you go nuts. Like, what are you doing? Ask Mighty Heidi Dream Warrior. I think she did that and read all the papers. Actually, I think this is who that's about. Let's see here. Who? I think Heidi was the name. Heidi Barnes is the name of this person. And I have got to block someone. So hold on, folks. I'm sorry about this. Let me turn the volume off so that there is no echo when I go to block this person. Well, anyway, while I'm working on this, yeah, here's the bottom line. Even though that they're making it sound like this is a positive thing, like, hey, she tripled her tips just by using a just by switching to a Tesla. That's not really the win it's supposed to be. I mean, it's like these cars are super expensive. You don't own them the way she does it, and if she did own it, she'd have a car payment that Uber would never be able to cover. And she's living in an area that, quite frankly, she can't afford to live anyway. So, anyway, that's kind of where I'm going to leave that story. And now, I told everyone this was going to be a short live stream, but hey, if you want to do a little Q&A and just do a little hang time right now, we could also do that. I'll give everyone a few minutes to type in their questions or comments. Let me see. Uberman Tampa. Hey. Oh, happy birthday, Uberman Tampa, by the way. Isn't that like $500 a week? Yeah, basically. It's basically $500 a week. And yeah, the Tesla would normally be $50,000. Again, she's leasing it through Uber. Man, it's hard to do the YouTube. Yeah, nope, it is. It is hard to do the YouTube. I mean, people act like, oh, YouTube's such an easy. It's like, no, it's not. It really isn't. Have you been trying to do YouTube yourself? Is that why you said that? Let me go to your channel, see if you've been uploading anything. Nope, you don't have any. Well, you don't have any content on the Romeo Angel Bocella channel at the very least. No, you say yes, but you must have it on a different channel altogether because yeah, I went to your channel and doesn't look like you have anything on there. But yeah, no, it's not easy. It's very. Oh hey, Muhammad, how you doing? Greetings, happy 4th of July. Hope all is well. Got my chauffeur's license. Well, congratulations on getting your chauffeur's license. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Oh, you got a new symbol there, a little star. You must be a long time supporter. Hey Kevin, I hope you are doing well. I loved going to the Walt Disney Film Museum with you 1 week ago today. Yes, I enjoyed that too. Me and Katie both enjoyed that. We did comment afterwards that had we known how difficult it was to get through San Francisco, we probably would have just gone to that pizza place that was near your hotel. We passed it on the way out, and it's like, oh, that place looks kind of nice. Like, we should have just gone there. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun to see you. By the way, oops, sorry. Won't be seeing Shannon until the end of the summer, but yeah, make sure to mail that silver booklet from the Mickey Mouse Club to me so I can still get that signed for you. With the other channels. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. The other channels. So, Ask Mighty Heidi Dream Warrior. I'm going to look up Mighty Heidi Dream Warrior. See what her story's all about. Oh, okay. So she renting a Tesla for Uber. Is it right for you? Okay, so she's got a YouTube channel. Let's see here. Sorry, this video is no longer available. Let me go to her channel and see what this is all about. Mighty Heidi Dream Warrior. Oh wow, almost 7,000 subscribers. Not bad. Just some broadcast, no driving live streams for a while. So I take it she has a lot of baseball videos, and she does a lot of driving. So she's like a road vlogger then, isn't she? That's her deal. She does have a gig lounge. Interesting. Oh, okay. We'll have to check that out a little later. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's see here. Since January 2020, I'm pretty sure is when I started becoming a YouTube member. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's just interesting to see that symbol there. May I ask what your view on overturn Roe versus Wade? I mean, that's a complicated one for me. For the record, I am totally against abortion. Katie could have been an abortion, so I do not like abortion, but at the same time, I don't really like the way that was done. I don't think overturning Roe versus Wade actually does anything but make people who want to get abortions still get them, except in much less safe ways. I mean, that's just... And, of course, there's a bigger issue where it's like, I don't like the fact that the Supreme Court just nilly-willy went in there and overturned something. I mean, there's certain things that I just think that the courts shouldn't do, and this would probably count as one of them, because then what happens when it's a liberal majority and then they're going to overturn something you don't like? I mean, there wasn't really any justification for them to do this. No one was really asking for them to do this. I mean, well, maybe some people were, but so yeah, I mean, I personally would think that people would be better off, putting money and resources towards things that would make people not want to have abortions and do things like that. Like fund places that will take babies and rehome them. Make contraceptives more available. I'm doing an arm thing. Things like that. I might not like abortion, and I am morally opposed to it. I am very morally opposed to it, but at the same time, this was not a good thing that they did. So, yeah, I wish they hadn't done it that way. And really, if you had to change it, just tighten the requirements for what it takes to get an abortion. Like, don't, say like, hey, if the abortion is past this much time, then you can't have one. You have to look at one of these things. I mean, I'm okay with that. But just outright take it away, I don't think that was a good thing. So, hopefully that's not a controversial opinion. So, Starry says, very reasonable opinion. Thank you. let's see here. So Ryan says, thanks for letting me know. Should I send it to your P.O. box? Yeah, send it to the P.O. box. That would be good. Starry says, if you don't mind me asking, do you think the ruling will have any effect on the midterm elections this year? It's possible. Most major events do have an effect on midterms. I mean, but I don't know what that would be. I mean, one thing that can't be denied, and I know some of these people, there are single issue voters out there, and this is the issue that they vote on. And now with Roe versus Wade overturned, they might be inclined not to show up and vote because they don't really care about anything else. This is all that they cared about. So that might be one way that the midterm elections are affected. Also, this might rile people who are passionate about this, who didn't want Roe versus Wade overturned, who now want it to be codified or something like that. It might encourage them to come out and vote harder. I don't think it's going to, although I don't know, honestly, I mean, because as big of an issue as this is, I think because I know that there's like a red wave coming, or at least it kind of feels like there's a red wave coming, and I don't think this is the issue that was spurring that red wave on. I think there's other issues that are concerning Americans a little bit more, which is making them turn from Democrats, maybe fairly or unfairly. I vote both, for the record, but yeah, I just don't know. I will say, because some people are like pretty mad at the conservative judges, and I would be too. They're not getting any slack. But Obama had a chance to codify Roe versus Wade when he was in office, and he said he was going to codify Roe versus Wade to office when he got to office, and then he got pushed back from his fellow Democrats and decided not to. And I suspect, can't prove it, of course, but I suspect that the reason they didn't codify it was because the Democrats have been running on the fear that Roe versus Wade could get overturned for so long that they didn't want it codified. Otherwise, they were afraid that their side would kind of relax and just not turn out to vote. And hey, it's a strategy that worked until it didn't. So, I don't know. I do think there is a real possibility that there might be some Republicans who this is like kind of their holy grail. They wanted Roe versus Wade overturned. It's overturned. So what do they have to vote for anymore, right? But you never know. There's also a possibility that there's some Democrats or liberals, young ones I would say, maybe they're not going to get out to vote as much because they're going to look at this thing and they're going to be so discouraged by what happened that they're just, what's the point of even going out to vote? Like, the judges can just overturn it. Like I said, I don't like how this was done. But anyway, Romeo says, right, man, I know people hate abortion and overturn the rule, but due to the reason and idea is to have clean, safety place to do so. That was kind of my thing. I kind of considered it a necessary evil. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, when people say, I have the right to choose what to do with my body, I interpret it as, what you're basically saying is you have the right to kill a baby, which I don't agree with. But, again, there are circumstances where it is a necessary evil. Sometimes giving birth can cause a health problem for the mother. Sometimes they are the victim of rape or incest. And actually, there's like this scary story going on in Ohio right now where a 10-year-old got pregnant. Now, I don't know how the 10-year-old got pregnant. I am hoping through no fault of her own. But she can't get her abortion in Ohio, so she had to drive to Indiana to get the abortion. I don't necessarily see how we're helping someone like that when we say that person can't get an abortion. So, I don't like talking about these controversial topics on the live streams. They can be pretty upsetting sometimes, but yeah, the bottom line is it is overturned, and I mean, Yeah, truthfully, the Democrats do have something to run on now. Like they can now try to run on codifying Roe versus Wade, I think. So, anyway, do we have any other questions or comments? We had 17 people. I wonder if people were turned off because of the discussion. And oh, hey, 3 likes. Thank you for whoever liked it. Let me see while I'm waiting if there's a way to just let's see here. Report. I'll report this person for spam. Let's see here. Romeo says we can't have one without other one, like good and bad. I kind of agree. Starry says I was a city council candidate in 2020, planning to run again in 2025, and one of my supporters got angry I didn't make a public statement about the ruling. I didn't want to isolate anyone. Well, and here's why it gets complicated on things like that, and some of you already know. Like, the funny thing is, I will talk about politics, even though I don't like to, because I think just a little bit of politics commentary really ruined this channel to a certain extent. I mean, there were other things. I mean, stupid feuds. Uber became a dying topic that I only comment on. Well, I guess I'm commenting it more these days, but there are a lot of reasons. But people that ask politics, like, well, what do you think about Trump? Well, personally, I think he sucks. Now, did I mean that everything he did sucks? No, he did some very good things policy-wise. But I think he wasn't a very good, person at the very least. And people just, they went ape over that. And then when I congratulated Joe Biden, like, I lost subscribers that way. But then when I, criticize the way we're pushing, let's say, certain sex reassignment surgeries on kids, and I wonder if maybe we're not taking this a little too far to be pushing that on, like, an 8-year-old. People are opinionated about these things, and I think social media makes this harder because I find it very hard to believe that someone says, hey, I'm a Republican, therefore I agree with that. I just agree with everything they say all across the board. Or I am a Democrat, so I agree with that. All across the board. No discussion. And if I'm going to assume that if you didn't make a statement on the ruling, I'm gonna assume you. Well, actually, I can't assume now that I think about it. But let's say, Starries, that you were a Republican and you felt like the overturning of Roe versus Wade was a mistake. Well, you have an algorithm from Twitter and Facebook that will not push that opinion out. In fact, if anything, you're going to get dogpiled on by your supporters, so you might as well not say anything. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans who do not believe the big lie, who do not believe that the election was stolen. But they don't say anything because the algorithm pushes the big lie. Likewise, there are tons of Democrats who know exactly that defund the police is. They know what it is, and they know that it's not good for them. They know it's not good for anyone, really. But, well, they support it because algorithms push it. So it's very, very complicated. But, hey, you know what? Good on you for running for city council anyway, and good luck on running again. Those elections can be pretty brutal. Romeo says, man, I watch some channel who live in the South has disagree with the rule because that is not them and that isn't their view and opinions. Muhammad says, Kevin, you remind me of Dan Fielding of Night Court and also Senator. I I actually don't even know who Dan Fielding is. I hope he was a good guy, though. Starry said, and Starry says, you pretty much summed me up. Oh, okay. So I kind of had a feeling. You were hesitant to assume, but yes, I'm a conservative in a district Trump won by 2%. I have lots of moderates supporting me. Well, the moderates are who you want to support you, because moderates, here's the thing, it's not that moderates are moderates that make them great, it's that moderates want to talk things out. I mean, there's that great scene in House of Cards, and yeah, I know I'm using a Kevin Spacey scene, so what can you do, right? Where Kevin Spacey, as the president, is talking with the Russian, clearly the guy who represents Putin, and they're discussing releasing a prisoner, and Frank Underwood's like, this is what the states will expect, and the Russian guy's like, no, well, this is what I want. Like, well, I can't get that. Well, I'm not going to with this, and they just go back and forth, and at one point, Kevin Spacey says, can we at least imagine what a compromise might look like? And then they talk about it. I think that's what needs to happen more often. Like, we need to actually compromise, but I think in a social media age that gets very difficult, because the Twitter mob is very much a real thing, and if you say the wrong thing, the mob gets going and you start trending, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you have all these people against you. Sometimes they don't even know what it is they're complaining about. Like, I mean, I know a public figure who said something, and that person was immediately pounced upon, like, oh, that person's, a transphobic racist. And the funny thing is, a lot of people have this opinion, but when I go up and I say, hey, can you tell me exactly what was said? Most people don't know. They just know that that's the opinion of the person. So it gets very hard to be in politics. And I guess I'm kind of worried, because I kind of miss the Ronald Reagans, and I miss the Bill Clintons, and I miss the George W. Bushes and the Barack Obamas. I mean, whatever you think of these presidents, and they all made their mistakes for sure. But they tended to have a policy like, look, the other side is not our enemy. They love our country too. We have disagreements of what the best thing for the country looks like. So we need to reach across the aisle, and we have to learn to talk with these people. I didn't see a lot of that under the Trump administration. I think that might be the worst thing he did, if I'm being honest, is that he came in with such a fire and brimstone, I'm going to have my way, it's my way or the highway, that it encouraged people to come in and just, how should I put it, not compromise. Like, we're going to get the mob behind us, and we're going to get people riled up, and we're not going to compromise. We're going to do this, and once the Republicans get power, or once the Democrats get power, then hey, we can do what we want then. And that's really not how it should be. It should always be a compromise thing. That's why I don't like Marjorie Greene Taylor or Matt Gaetz. It's also why I don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or any member of the Squad. These people are all super extreme, and they wouldn't know what compromise looked like if it bit them in the butt. Let's see here. Muhammad said, Kevin, I made a YouTube video about making GIMP. Twitter blocked because it was considered insensitive. You can view it. Well, I'd like to see that video. I don't know. I've heard people get their GIMP videos blocked from social media sites because GIMP sounds like an abbreviation of pimp. And whether it's right or wrong, they will tend to block videos with that name in there. So that might be one of the reasons why that's going on. Thank you for hiding that person. Does that person keep coming back, or? Yeah, we've got a bot. We've got a bot trying to sell a service in our midst. So yeah. Mana just popped in, so why the tips? Oh, that was 20 minutes ago. Well, 25 minutes ago. Oh, wow, we've been talking a while. Bottom line, long story short, Uber driver traded in her Toyota Camry for a Tesla Model S and basically tripled her tips. So there you go. Starry says they were on Doug Man's Land Wordle stream a few nights ago. Did I miss something? I must have. Oh, you're talking about a couple of the politicians. Really? Interesting. Debt and Taxes says that bot was in my church stream yesterday. So weird. Oh yeah, because that's where you're gonna go and advertise. Oh, you're talking about the bot. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, the bots really don't care what the subject is, but it's funny that they went to like a church live stream, like they thought that they were gonna get some takers there of all places. It's like Romeo says, man, he said it's double HD blue videos. Yep. Let's see here. Any other questions or comments? We might actually end up doing a whole hour tonight. You never know. I mean, I didn't think we were going to do an hour, but yeah, we might actually end up doing an hour. Let's see. Is there anything? By the way, did any of you watch my Airbnb video? I thought it was funny how like most of the comments that I got was people who basically said that that they thought that the cleaning fee was BS and how they would like put a stop payment on their credit card if they were charged a cleaning fee. And I'm like, why? Because they think you should be allowed to rent an Airbnb and just mess up the house? I wonder if people realize sometimes how entitled they sound. Ryan says, as 4th of July is tomorrow, are there any movies that you enjoy watching on the holiday? So if I watch a movie on the 4th of July, even though it's terrible, I watch Independence Day for very obvious reasons. But another movie I like watching on the 4th of July is Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney, his Oscar-winning performance for Best Actor. That's a really good movie. Now, some people would watch Yankee Doodle Dandy and argue that it's propaganda, and sure enough, it absolutely was. I think it was even made to encourage people to buy war bonds, and it was about a guy who wrote a lot of the patriotic songs that we still sing to this day. But yeah, so those are the two movies I like to watch on 4th of July: Yankee Doodle Dandy and Independence Day, even though it's absolutely awful. Hey, I got a super chat. Thank you, Javid. Update on your thoughts on SDC being the future. What's SDC? You need to clarify, buddy. But I will say, yes, I actually saw Top Gun Maverick a second time tonight on Screen X, which wasn't quite as good as seeing it on IMAX, but definitely holds up. And the funny thing is, early in the year, people were talking about how they were thinking that maybe Tom Cruise could get a Best Actor nomination and win for this, and they cite like it just kind of feels like it's overdue. Like, you know how Paul Newman won for The Color of Money? Maybe Self-Driving Cars. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Maybe it's just time for Tom Cruise to win an Oscar. And I wasn't thinking that was realistic, but when I see the scene with Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer again, that is a very well acted scene. And I am going to take it a step further. Not only do I think does Tom Cruise have a good chance of being nominated for Best Actor, if Val Kilmer gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor and starts winning the awards, he might carry Cruise along with him, and they could both win for this movie. I think that would be kind of nice. As for the self-driving cars, yeah, still waiting for that to be like an actual thing. It's going to be a long time before that happens, folks. All right, let's see here. But thank you for the super chat again. Mana says, you're driving hybrid now, right? Any recommendation on the hybrid battery? May need to replace my Civic's hybrid. Well, I got a hybrid Corolla, and I'm Loving it. I am really, really loving it. Not looking forward to self-driving car. I wouldn't worry about the self-driving cars. They're still like at least a decade or two away. Um, Frugal Comic says, I don't see his performance as the best of the year. Well, no, and it's not. And I'm sure there'll be better actor performances, but there is something to be said. Once in a while, the Academy will give an Oscar out to someone as kind of a career best. Like, okay, you have been nominated so many times, or you have contributed this much. Let us give you an award. Like I said, the most obvious one, Paul Newman for The Color of Money. Not the greatest performance in the world, but, Paul Newman had been nominated how many times at that point and hadn't won, so yeah, they were going to give him an award. And Paul Newman wasn't close to death. He really wasn't. What was it? What was another one? Like Sean Connery for The Untouchables. It's probably not his best performance, but he was James Bond for Pete's sakes, and so he won. And yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, that's another good one. The Revenant's not his best work, but not even close. But yeah, so here's the thing. I think, especially if Top Gun continues to be the big hit as it is, the Academy might want to reward that, not to mention boost their sagging ratings. And I bet you if they nominate Val Kilmer too, because that one scene is very, very powerful, and they would definitely that might be Kilmer's last chance to honor him for anything. They might do that, and because he shares the scene that Tom Cruise has the teary-eyed moment with in that movie, he might carry Tom Cruise with him. I don't know. I'm kind of making a bold prediction on that one. I don't be surprised if Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer walk away with golden statues next year. If you can hear the fireworks out, so I don't know if you can, but anyway, Starry says, my city has had a problem where drug dealers have been renting Airbnbs and switching houses every week to avoid the police. That's another thing that's happening. Oh, yes, Muhammad, Born on the 4th of July. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a rough one to be watching. But yeah, no, that would make for a good movie to watch. Hey, that's a Tom Cruise movie where he got nominated for Best Actor. He didn't win. It did win Best Director, though. So, yeah. Born on the 4th of July. Yeah, that's a great one. Oh, Ryan, you also enjoy watching Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yeah, that's a good one. Frugal Comics, love Yankee Doodle Dandy. Hey, I'm actually kind of surprised how many of you have seen Yankee Doodle Dandy. Some movies get so old, you kind of wonder, am I the only one who's seen this still? But, boy, it's great to see that people still watch it. Al Pacino, yes, Al Pacino's another one. Like, he won for Scent of a Woman, and it's like, he probably deserved to win for one of the Godfather films, if we're being honest. But, yeah, he won for Scent of a Woman. So, I mean, let me look. I kind of wonder. Let me look. I think there's also some. Also, I kind of believe this year Jessica Chastain won because she'd been nominated so many times. Not because her performance was the best. I think Kristen Stewart's was the best, but it was just kind of it's time. It's time to give her one. So that's all right. Let's go back over here. Let's see here. Frugal Comics. Found Yankee when I was maybe 18 and didn't particularly like musicals, but was fascinated. Well, that's a very unusual musical. They have the songs, but it's not a musical in the typical sense of the word. Hey, thanks for another super chat, Javid. Flat Earthers don't believe in space travel. What's your favorite fake space movie? Mine is Interstellar. Oh, that's an interesting question. Now, I guess I have to have two. One that's bad and one that's good. And Interstellar's a great choice, by the way. I did give it 5 stars in my review when I reviewed it years ago. But I think when it comes to good space movies, I think my favorite's still... Actually, no, I'm going to save that one for a special category. Maybe it is Interstellar. Well, Moon. In terms of bad space movies, I do like Armageddon. Um, I it's it's dumb, but I really like it. I guess that's technically a disaster movie. I also like Forbidden Planet. That's cheesy, but it's good. Um, Inter, yeah. I like Alien. I like Moon, Prometheus. I mean, the movie that probably is like the highest of the high is 2001: A Space Odyssey. I mean, it's its own unique thing, and it's still so different from anything else you're going to see. I actually, funny story, I took my wife to see 2001: A Space Odyssey in IMAX. 70 millimeter IMAX. She does not realize how wonderful it is to be seeing the movie in that screen. And her head just spanned that entire movie. She's like, what the heck is this? So, yeah. But yeah, I really do. Is it too early to say Lightyear? I kind of enjoy Lightyear. I really, I like Lightyear a lot. But yeah, Prometheus was a good one too. And yeah, I'm kind of looking at a list right now. Oh, Apollo 13 and Gravity. How could I? Okay, so probably my favorite is a tie between Apollo 13 and Gravity. 2001: A Space Odyssey gets put into that special camp. And then, yeah, Armageddon. I mean, it's stupid and it's terrible. I know it's stupid and terrible, but I like it. God help me, I like it. Oh, that's an interesting question. And then you start wondering, like, do movies like Guardians of the Galaxy count? I didn't know you reviewed Interstellar. I gotta find it. Well, here, I'll make it easy for you. Let me, well, actually, here's something I will, actually, let me see if I have it. I might be able to find it on my website. And if I can find my website, I will put this link here. Let's see here, movie reviews. Go back. Oh yeah, there it is. So this review is a few years old at this point, and I'm not sure. It's always hard to go back to your old stuff that you've written, and you do nothing but see the mistakes. But anyway, there it is. If you want to read my print review of Interstellar, I might even update it with my letterboxed account. In fact, I'll also share my Letterboxd profile, and for those of you who want to follow me on Letterboxd, then feel free to do so. Let me find this, and then I will get back. Yeah, I haven't updated this in a while either, but I will start updating it again. There's my Letterboxd profile. Nancy says, yeah, I forgot movies like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because they seem like a different genre. Yeah, what about a movie like Spaceballs? Like, is Spaceballs technically a space movie? I mean, space is in the title, but it... And then what about like Star Wars? Like, do any of the Star Wars movies count? I mean, they're literally about space, but they're not really space movies. So anyway, did you see Voyager last year? I don't think I did see Voyager last year. I'm all for Armageddon love. Yeah, yep, Armageddon love, exactly. So, yeah, what's my next review going to be? See, I'm currently working on articles for another site. Articles that thankfully do pay, so my movie reviews have kind of taken a back seat to some of these other articles that I have to write. I did write a review for Top Gun Maverick. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. Like, I was actually pretty generous to Top Gun Maverick. But, all right, any other questions, comments, folks? I think we have 10 more minutes left. I'm actually amazed no one has commented on the llamas. Nobody commented on the llamas. How interesting. I guess no one really cared. How do you feel about the gay scene in Lightyear? I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, it's just two women giving a kiss to one another. I'm much more baffled by the scene in Baymax on Disney Plus, where the trans boy is looking for tampons for his period, and it's like, that seems to be opening the door to a topic that most parents don't want to broach at the age of 8 years old. So I don't know what they're doing there, but yeah, no, I didn't think that scene in Lightyear was that big of a deal, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it was so brief. I mean, but you know, I do know people who didn't want to take their kids to that, and I mean, look, it's just their choice. I mean, I actually have some friends who are like, you know, they're all for gay marriage. They were actually kind of concerned, like, well, does it show them having kids and stuff? Because I've already had the talk with our kids, and do I want to get into another talk with the kids? And I was like, well, yeah, they do show them having kids, so, you know, I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, certainly not a breaker of anything. And they might as well have restored the kiss. I mean, when I heard that they originally cut it, I don't even know why they bothered, because, you know, there's that whole conversation where she's wearing the ring, and it's like, oh yeah, I met her, and everything about that movie suggested that they were married. So even if they cut the kiss, it would have been super, super obvious. So I thought that was an interesting controversy. Nancy says, I literally think I just blinked and didn't even see the gay scene. That's how little time it was. Oh, okay, yeah. So I think I read that one already. So yeah. Otherwise, I actually quite liked Lightyear. I'm a little disappointed that it's not doing well at the box office. I'm thinking a large part of that, though, is because Disney's been putting all of their Pixar movies on Disney Plus for free. And even the movies that have not been put on Disney Plus right away, like Encanto, went to Disney Plus pretty quickly afterwards, like I think after 28 days. So I think Disney's just conditioned parents to just stay home. Like, hey, just wait a couple weeks and it'll be on Disney Plus, and they're going to have to answer their shareholders about why they thought that was a good strategy. Because I really don't think it was a good strategy. So, all right, folks, we're in the last 7 minutes. Any final questions or comments? Any final likes you want to give? Thumbs up help. Not gonna lie, getting thumbs up do help the channel. So, did I miss anything? You know, one more thing on when they give an award out for someone who's close to death, I'm just going to add, that's another reason why they might give Val Kilmer an Oscar. I don't know if he's actually on death's door, but, you know, he had throat cancer, survived it, he can't really act anymore. I mean, just like, if that isn't an excuse to give someone a Lifetime Achievement Award, I don't know what is. Although, now that I think about it, I don't think Val Kilmer's ever been nominated for an Oscar. Like, let me see here. Val Kilmer Academy Award. Let's see if he was ever... nominated for an Academy Award. I don't think he was. And the answer is no, he was not. He hasn't even been nominated for a Golden Globe. And anyone can get nominated for a Oh, thank you for the Sailor Moon on the other channel. Thank you. I did a Sailor Moon video. On my other channel, I do some. Top Gun was not good on 4DX. Oh no, Top Gun was very good on 4DX. Screen X it wasn't very good on. So, if you did an updated top 10 Criterion releases, would the Citizen Kane 4K be on it? I don't know how it couldn't be on it. I mean, it's Citizen Kane and it's a great set. But I would also kind of hate to bump anything that's currently on there right now. So, so Top Gun was good on 4DX. I definitely enjoyed it there. That was one of the few movies that definitely benefited from being on 4DX. So I think before that, the last movie I saw on 4DX was Spider-Man, and that thing jerked around way too much. Like, my goodness. There is a limit to how much you can bounce around in a 4DX screen. So, yeah, I'm working on another Sailor Moon video about the history of the show on home video in America. So keep your eye on the other channel, obviously, Nancy. So keep an eye out for that one. I'm also working on that other channel, a retrospective of Smash Mouth and their entire discography. I don't know if that's actually going to succeed, but I kind of feel like Smash Mouth did not get the love they deserved. They actually had some really good music, and so after the guy retired, I was like, I'm going to make this video, and I'm finally getting around to finishing the editing. Alright, see you later, Muhammad. Like, we're probably going to be Sailor Moon versus Dragon Ball. Well, they're completely different shows. Like, they're very, very different shows. I mean, personal bias, I prefer Sailor Moon, but if I wanted an action show, I probably wouldn't watch Sailor Moon. I'd probably watch Dragon Ball. And actually, that's the other thing. Like, are you talking about Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z? Because Dragon Ball is much more humor-oriented, and so in that case, I would probably pick Dragon Ball over Sailor Moon. But if you're talking about Dragon Ball Z versus Sailor Moon, then yeah, I'd probably prefer Sailor Moon. So, you know, but yeah, very different shows at the end of the day. Completely different shows. Neither one really comes close to topping my all-time favorite, though, Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop and the Vision of Escaflowne. Those are my all-time favorites in terms of TV shows. If you're talking about movies, then probably grab a Studio Ghibli film or something like that. So yeah, have a good night, Muhammad. All right, we are down to the last. Just finished Euphoria. Oh, is that HBO Max show with Zendaya in it? Like, I've heard good things about that, but I'm kind of thinking like I want my like drug infused filmography to begin and end with Requiem for the Realm of the Senses. Is that what it is? Realm of the Senses by Darren Aronofsky. Like, that was pretty twisted, and I think that's all I really need on that topic. I also kind of wonder, how long can a show like that honestly go on before it gets tiresome? Like, I have no doubt that it's good for at least the first season. But after season 3 or 4, like, do you just get tired of everyone just being strung up on drugs the whole time? Like, I don't know how that would work. But it's interesting that Zendaya went from like Disney Channel star to Spider-Man girlfriend to now being in this really R-rated HBO series. It's very interesting. All right, folks. We've hit the hour, so we are going to end it here. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. And yeah, keep an eye out. We'll be doing another live stream soon where we will talk about another news story, and then we will, do a little chat afterwards. This is going to be the format for the next few weeks until certain things get figured out. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will catch you all later.